JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now onto the news. Popular dancer gunned down in Manchester. The police are probing the murder of a dancer at a bar in the Richmond district in Manchester on Thursday morning. Police named the woman as 26-year-old Britannia Francis, who goes by the alias DHQ Chicken, a resident of Brinkley district near Junction in St. Elizabeth. A police report said at about 1:30 a.m., Francis was at the bar in Richmond, south of Mandeville, along with the establishment's operators when they were closing up to leave and loud explosions were heard. Francis was found suffering from gunshot wounds, and one of the windows in the door for Toyota Voxy was also shattered by a bullet. Francis was rushed to the hospital, where she died while undergoing treatment. Statistics from the police show that up to Saturday, May 3, there were 5 murders compared with 13 for the corresponding period last year in Manchester. This latest incident increases the number of people murdered in the parish to 6 so far this year. More gun seizures. Cops continue search for wanted men. For the second time in 3 days, police searching for persons of interest have found guns instead of their intended targets. This time, the police found 2 illegal guns and several rounds of ammunition while searching for men on Victoria Avenue and Albert Street in Denham Town, West Kingston on Wednesday. The weapons were found during snap raids carried out by detectives attached to the Denham Town Criminal Investigation Branch. The raids were in search of Anthony Williams, otherwise called Pops, who is wanted for escaping custody and is also a suspect in a case of shooting. According to reports, between 10:30 a.m. and 12:20 p.m., the police went to Victoria Avenue, where they found a Taurus 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 3 live rounds in an old refrigerator. The lawmen went to Albert Street, where they found a pistol with an empty magazine hidden in a narrow gap between the side wall of a house and the perimeter wall. No one was arrested in connection with the seizures, the police said. However, the Denham Town CIB is asking Williams and other persons of interest, O'Shane Barnes, otherwise called Bappo, and the 3 men known only as Sticker, Ray J, and Flower, all from Denham Town, to turn themselves into the police by 6 p.m. on Thursday, May 8, 2025. On Monday, an illegal gun and 6 rounds of ammunition were seized on Ramsey Road, Kingston 13, during an operation conducted by the Kingston Western Division Proactive Investigation Unit. The operation, police said, was in pursuit of alleged members of the Stinger Gang, Shadwayne Hines, otherwise called Nico, Kemar Fraser, otherwise called Parry, and Malik Mattis, otherwise called Baby Boy. Man gunned down in Ocherias community. The Ocherias police in Centon are probing the shooting death of a man whose body was found along a roadway near White River. He is yet to be identified. According to reports, at about 6:15 p.m. on Tuesday, an alarm was raised about gunfire in the community of White River Pines Estate. Upon the arrival of the police, the body of the man was found along a roadway in the community. Checks made reveal that the body had what appeared to be gunshot wounds. The scene was processed and the body was removed. Man killed in crash in St. Elizabeth. A motorist on Wednesday died after his car crashed and overturned in Brompton, St. Elizabeth. He has been identified as 32-year-old Kimberly Rowe of Kilmore District in Brompton. Reports are that around 10:15 a.m., Rowe was driving a Nissan AD wagon along a roadway when he allegedly lost control of the vehicle, which overturned. He was assisted to the Black River Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Black River Traffic Department is probing the matter. 3 men arrested following $1.8 million meat scam. Cops probe linked to $1.5 million cheese fraud. The police in Manchester reported that 3 men were arrested after they tried to scam a wholesale in Christiana last month of approximately $1.8 million worth of meat. The police said the men were part of a scheme where a fraudulent check was lodged to the wholesaler's bank account and an attempt made to remove the goods in a truck. Charged with the offenses of obtaining goods by means of forged documents and conspiracy to obtain goods by means of forged documents are Rashawn Gregory, otherwise called Chemo, of a Kingston 13 address, Corbar Grant 26, a resident of Glengoff in St. Catherine, and Keith Ridge 53, a resident of Big Lane, Central Village in St. Catherine. Police said on Wednesday, April 30, the 3 men loaded a truck with the meat after a man who identified himself as a businessman made contact with the proprietor of the wholesale in Christiana. Police said the businessman told the proprietor that he operated an establishment in Cave Valley, St. Anne, and that he lodged $1.8 million to the proprietor's business account. Between Sunday, April 27 and Tuesday, April 29, the businessman called the proprietor, checking if the funds were received. On Tuesday, April 29, the money reflected. The three men turned up at the wholesaling Cristiano and loaded items valued at $1,665,683.22 in the truck. However, the proprietor again checked the bank account and noted that the transaction was reversed as it was deemed to be fraudulent due to forgery. The police were called and the truck with the three men was intercepted. Last Saturday, the three men were questioned and formally charged. Their court date is being arranged. Subsequent investigations revealed that the truck seized is linked to another scam in Maypen during Easter, where $1.5 million worth of cheese was scammed from a supermarket in a similar fraud. Man sentenced to 6 months at hard labor after escaping court custody. A man who escaped police custody at the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court in September last year, injuring a female police officer in the process, was on Tuesday sentenced to 6 months imprisonment at hard labor. The accused, Shamari Johnson, had been in police custody in connection with an assault matter. According to a report read in court by the investigating officer, the incident occurred on September 26, 2024. He recounted that, while making his way to the holding area, he heard people shouting, "Catch a prisoner!" and the prisoner escaped. Upon arriving at courtroom 7, where Johnson had been sent, he realized that the prisoner was missing. During his escape, Johnson reportedly pushed and injured a female police officer. Police officers chased Johnson along Maxfield Avenue, where he was eventually apprehended. He was later charged with escaping custody and assault occasioning bodily harm. Johnson pleaded guilty to the charges on November 20, 2024. In court, Johnson's attorney explained that his client fled because he was terrified at the prospect of being remanded by the judge. The circumstances were aggravating, said presiding judge Sanchia Burrell. "You are before a judge in the criminal court, and you are there on a warrant, which means that you have shown scant regard for your obligations to the court." Judge Burrell further remarked that Johnson's decision to run from the court demonstrated a refusal to submit to his jurisdiction. Although his early guilty plea reduced the sentence from 12 to 5 months, Burrell imposed a 6-month sentence at hard labor due to the serious nature of his actions. Jamaican man sentenced to 5 years in U.S. federal prison for illegal re-entry. A Jamaican man who illegally re-entered the United States on 2 occasions has been sentenced to 5 years in federal prison after pleading guilty in February. A U.S. district judge in Tampa, Florida, sentenced 55-year-old Hubert Crew on the charge of illegal re-entry by an aggravated felon. According to court records, Crew was initially removed from the United States on January 26, 2007, following his release from a federal prison on charges of misprision of a felony, failure to appear, and making a false statement on a passport application. He subsequently re-entered the U.S. and was removed on 2 more occasions on April 26, 2013 and November 30, 2016. On November 7, 2024, federal immigration authorities found the Jamaican at a residence in Tampa after receiving an anonymous tip that he had re-entered the country illegally. 94 killed in 85 fatal crashes during January-March quarter, says ITA. With 14 of the 94 fatalities, St. Catherine was the most dangerous parish of Jamaican road users during the January to March quarter of 2025. St. Andrew and St. James come next with 12 fatalities each, according to the traffic crash statistics released on Tuesday by the Island Traffic Authority, ITA. The figures show that 94 fatalities resulted from 85 fatal crashes. They also show that Westmoreland recorded 9 road deaths, Hanover and St. Elizabeth each had 8, St. Mary and Clarendon 6 each, while Trelawney and Kingston had 5 each. With just 1 fatality, Portland was the safest parish for road users during the first 3 months of the year. St. Thomas was next with 2, while Manchester and St. Anne each recorded 3 fatalities. According to the ITA, fatalities have decreased by 15%, and the fatal crashes are down 11% when compared to prior year. A breakdown of the statistics by category of road users show that motorcyclists account for 28% or 26 fatalities as of the first quarter. Of note is that motorcycle fatalities decreased by 13% or 13 when compared to the similar period in 2024. Private motor vehicle drivers account for 26% or 24 of the fatalities as of the first quarter. Private motor vehicle driver fatalities have increased by 41% or 7 when compared with the similar period in 2024. Meanwhile, pedestrians account for 21% or 20 of the fatalities, while private motor vehicle passengers account for 13% or 12 fatalities during the period under review. JBNN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.